Now, again, the earliest picture we've got of the inside is this one, which is about 1850 again, right? And as you can see, it's very, very different from what it is now. Now, much of the church was rebuilt in 1533, right? 1533. Round about the time of the Reformation. And really, all that survives of that church are the pillars and the roof, the ceiling. That's a Tudor ceiling. But even that is not where it was originally. It's been raised up. If you look at this, can you see? So you can identify the pillars.
That's right.
The pillars are the same. The pillars are the same, but the church was much narrower and much lower. Now, you can see here, we'll have a look at another one when we go to the other end, and you can see how much lower the ceiling was. It was about the level of just above the top of the pillars there. So you can imagine that wooden ceiling lower down, just above the pillars. And at that time, they had put in a huge, what we call a 3-decker pulpit. Can you see there?
Yes.
That was bang in the middle there. Oh, the church was much shorter. Again, if you look at the windows, count the windows, where the organ is, you've got to imagine that was the end of the church. So it was much shorter. And there was a very small window at the end. So, 1853-4, the church was in a bad condition and they decided that it needed a lot of alterations. Now, even before then, that aisle had been made wider. The church had been widened, but and this one was widened in the 1789, I think. That explains the sundial outside at that time.
But how did they widen that? Did they take it because you said that wall was put in 17 something, did it? That wall.
That outside wall,
yes, so
that was put, well, no, it was widened in 17 something. That's when that was.
Oh, I see.
Because we don't know where it is, but I imagine the outside wall was originally somewhere probably about here.
Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah.
So that's when they widened it, and at the same time that they raised the roof of the.
Clears.
Not the clears. We're talking about 1789. Yeah. You can see where the original roof line was there.
Yeah, you can see.
And it was raised up, and that was, I think, in 1879. Sorry, 1789. So this is what it was like from round about then up to 1853. Right.
So where did they get the money from at that time, you know?
Well, for public subscriptions and things. One or two people.
So have you made your
we've got, there are lists of them. I mean, for instance, when they put the bells in, there's a list of various people who contributed towards them.
Yes.
Because there was no English heritage.
No.
stained glass then?
Again, the local people. Some of these were paid for by families. You know, they're in memory of people.
You can actually see the line that goes up to the point there.
You can see
and it comes down.
Where the original
roof
level was, just above the arch.
Yeah.
We'll have a look at the picture of that in a minute. Right, now, how did it alter in the 1850s? Right, this is a picture looking in that direction in the 1850s. So if you want to come around this side. So you can see what's happened. The original roof level was round about there, so they raised it all up, and at that time the chancel was made a little bit longer, and they put in this big window. Now, that was paid for by the congregation, and it was put in not in memory of, because he was still alive, but to celebrate the curate at the time, a man called Robert Mosley Master. We've got a picture of him over there, you'll see it in a bit. Not the big one. And he was one of the people who helped with Burnley. He was sometimes known as the clogging parson, because he used to provide poor children with clogs. People who were going barefoot were given clogs. And he also was one of the people who helped to found St. Peter's School, and to also form a number of other parishes. Now, another thing that you can see it on these pictures, as we'll see in a minute, was that after 1700, Burnley began to grow very, very much with the coming of industry. And St. Peter's was the only church. So there were more and more and more people coming. So what did they do? They put in some galleries. And you'll see them, you can see them on, can you see on that picture, right?
That's right.
How you've got a gallery there, and a gallery there, and there was another gallery at this end, as we'll see in a minute. And the organ was a great, massive thing at that end of the church. So after the changes of 1850s, you've still got the galleries there, right? And the window, and the pulpit, and the curate's desk. Right now, there were some more alterations coming, but we'll mention these in a minute.
Notice in the picture that there's also fixed seating as well.
Yes, there was fixed seating.
Yeah.
In this one here, they had what they call box pews. They had gates to get into them, and.
So when were those taken out?
This one's about after 1855.
Yes. So they were taken out.
The box pews would have been taken out in 1850, 53, 54 when the changes were.
Yeah.
And that's when the other pews were put in.
Yes. Yes.
Now, the three of the balconies it was about 1900-ish. But the top one didn't go to the 1950s. You'll remember it being there, won't you, David?
Oh, yes.
I can remember it. When we were at the grammar school, we used to sit up there at Founders' Day service.
Yeah. Dark
and it was dark and miserable. I remember sitting up there. Right, now if we go and have a look at the other end.
He's asking, is that part of the balcony, this over here? Was that?
No, that's a modern addition. When was that put in there? New Zealand.
Oh,
That's fairly recent, isn't it?
Well, that would be in the early 1960s. Yeah.
It was there before the fire, etc.
Yeah. Well, Arthur Park put that in, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took him ages to
Yeah.
to build that.